What's on my mind? Personal, private feelings. Are there any other kind? Seriously. Are there any other kind of feelings other than personal, private ones? I hear people say that, you can't trust your personal, private feelings. And, you can't go by your personal opinion. And I'm thinking, okay. And for years, it's not just something because somebody said something, although I've been thinking about that because of things people said. But I've been thinking about that for a long time, since, forever. Personal, private, or your personal, when we use the word personal opinion, like there's an opposite to that. The opposite of a personal opinion is an impersonal opinion. Well, what is an impersonal opinion? We could say, well, an opinion is out there somewhere. But people might mean that somebody who's not attached to your situation. I think that's what we mean in a more practical sense of it. Like, if you're in an argument with somebody about some particular thing, about whether or not something is true or not true, then you need to bring in somebody who doesn't really have any attachment to any particular outcome. It's just like when you have a juror. When you're looking for jurors who have no connection to the person on trial or the parties involved. If it's a civil situation or if it's a criminal situation, they don't have any personal connection to anybody. They don't know the lawyers. They don't know they don't know the defendant. So you try to bring in somebody but they have their personal opinions. Come on, it's not detached from reality or just out there floating in the world. And I've been thinking about this stuff, a lot, about what people think. Because at the heart of everything is personal, private feelings. You can't escape that. Every way in which we see the world is going to go filtered through who we are. It's always going to be that way. It's never going to be any other way. No matter how our technology may advance, you're never going to get away from the fact that you are a person and you have feelings and you have personal opinions and you have a personal judgment about something one way or the other. And, trying to hold that back and just totally filter that out of it, like running something through a coffee filter to take something out, to filter your personal self out of the equation, you can't do it. See, I don't think that's ever possible. And not only that, it's not even a good thing. But people speak as if it is. As if somehow we have to have this total being objective thing. No. The one thing is that who we are, what we are, is always going to be a part of the equation. It's always going to be in the equation. You can only pretend that it's not in the equation. You can only pretend. We think that science is the ultimate thing of filtering out how we personally feel about something. That somehow that's the way that works. And I think that that's an illusion to think that that's true. It's an illusion to think that you don't have any personal input in it, that your personal feelings don't get involved. They do. They get involved in a lot of different ways, in the very fact of what we choose to study and how we choose to interpret what we're looking at. Different person with a different history and different experiences and different thoughts and a different philosophy is going to interpret the same facts differently. We all have some influence on things. You think of people who've done things. I mean, if Einstein had a different history, a different personality, a different everything, he would have interpreted the same data completely differently. And of course, we wouldn't have the theories that we have. But when we look at things, we sort of say, well, but that's science. When it's science, somehow it gets separated from the person. It's out there by itself. That's how we look at it. That's how we think about it. What I'm saying probably doesn't make sense to a lot of people. And, but it's something I've been thinking about. It seems to me sometimes there are people who are so rational that they hate the fact that there is such a thing as one's interpretation or one's influence on the data. There's like an anti-personal issue involved. I know that there are people who, the one particular person who really disliked a lot of my videos because I would talk about things from a personal perspective. Well, my opinion is this, or this is how I see it, or this is what has worked for me. But, I don't know any other way to live except from a personal perspective. I don't know how to be impersonal. So I'm not trying to be impersonal. I am personal. My life is personal. Who I am is what I am. And the way I think is the way I think. And if I were anybody else, I would think different. It seems rather obvious. So I don't hide that. I speak, and I'm responsible for what I think and what I feel and the way I see it. And, I can't change the reality of my personalness of things. I may not have all the right words for things. I wish I had more sophisticated words for it. But I can't change my personalness to it. It always gets involved. Who I am gets involved in everything I observe and what I talk about and the way I say it and the way I'm studying something and even if I'm doing research about something. And the things that other people did, yes, that personal part is there. You may not see it, but it's there. I like to read Maslow. I don't have one of his books around saying, show and tell. But, a lot of what he thought about things, how he felt about things, really was involved in his science. But that was true with Freud. And psychology is the area which I really like more than any other science. Everybody else is into physics lately. But, Freud had his own personal view of things, and Carl Jung had his own personal view. And everybody's view is personal, but you can still learn from it. You can still gain something. What we do with science is we try to do something that really is impossible, but it is worth it to try to make things where we all could understand. But even when we understand it, we're still going to put our own personal input into it. We're going to look at it, think about it, and see it in our own way. And we add to something. That's how we really add to things, how we add to sort of a way in which things are. There's each person putting their own view, their own way of looking at it, and putting something in there. I don't agree with everything Freud said. I don't agree with everything Carl Jung said. I don't agree with everything Maslow said. But, some views I tend to be more closer to. I'm more closer to Maslow's views on things in psychology. But still, it's always going to be a personal element involved. Again, there's no person who's just not looking at it that way. I mean, unless we're robots. And even a robot is going to have a personal thing because whoever created that robot is going to put a part of their personalness into it. That gets into the equation no matter what. You can't pull that out of it. You can't filter it out and purify it and refine it to the point where you have pure impersonalness in the world. You just can't do that.